Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. We've got some incredible semi-hollow body guitars to share with you guys today. The beautiful Fiesta Red D'Angelico and the classic black and gold Epiphone. So both guitar makers have an incredibly rich history of guitar design. We're going to break down the differences, the similarities, and of course, do a tone test. Alright, so let's start by hitting up some of the main highlights of the D'Angelico. This is the Premier DC, retails for about $799. Traditional tailpiece on this one, looks really cool. 2 volumes, 2 tones, and a 3-way switch. So, pretty standard electronics for this style of guitar. Duncan design pickups, tortoise guard, block inlays, and of course the Empire State Building truss rod cover and D'Angelico headstock. Construction is completely maple, so maple neck, top, back, and sides with a center block. So it's hollow body on either side, on either wing, with just that center block running down the center to kind of anchor all the electronics. Very cool guitar. Let's check out the Epiphone. Alright, so now let's take a look at the Epiphone. This is the BB King signature model Lucille, and like that D'Angelico has an absolutely killer vibe. Of course, I'm a sucker for black and gold, and this guitar looks amazing. So, similar price range. The D'Angelico does have a gig bag with it. This one does not come with a case or a gig bag, but very similarly priced. So, construction-wise, it's actually very similar too. Maple neck, maple, laminated maple top, back, and sides, just like the D'Angelico. Again, very nice, arched. Now this one, you'll notice, does not have the F-holes because BB King was having lots of trouble with feedback, so he decided to change his model. So it's still hollow body, but with that center block, no F-holes. It's supposed to repel feedback. You know what? Let's see if it does. Well, okay, so I was a bit surprised at how much this guitar did feedback. So just because it doesn't have the F-holes doesn't mean you are immune to feedback. If you play with lots of gain and high volumes, it's gonna happen. Now for such a simple bluesman, BB King sure decked this guitar out. It's got some really interesting features, namely the fine tuners on the stop tailpiece. Now, of course, this doesn't have a locking nut, so I'm not sure why you would want fine tuners there. They're just harder to tune than regular tuning machines, but they're there. We get the Veritone switch, which basically just cuts certain frequencies along the bandwidth. It's not a pickup selector, it just uses whatever pickup you're on and changes the frequencies. Don't find it particularly helpful, not nearly as much as say coil splits, but they're there. So that's cool. And it's got stereo outputs. So some really interesting features on this guitar. And as for pickups, we've got Epiphone's Alnico Classics. So that's a quick overview of these two guitars. Tons of similarities, maple necks, glue-in neck joints, maple bodies, fingerboard radius is the same, neck profiles feel almost identical, even tilt back on the headstock looks to be about 14 degrees on both instruments or so. So tons of similarities, they even weigh about the same, they feel very similar to play. Obviously cosmetically, the BB King here has the rounded 335 kind of horns and a little bit more pointed on the D'Angelico. But if you were to overlap these guitars, same body shape, thickness, and playing experience is very similar. the end of it all, here are my final thoughts on these two incredible guitars. Well, if you're a diehard B.B. King fan, you're going straight for his model. It's an incredible guitar. Looks great, plays great. Or if you think you can make use of the Veritone switch, again, this one is much more versatile than, you know, your classic 335 kind of guitar. So I do know lots of people just pull the switch right out, just rip the circuitry out and just go to a three-way switch. So it depends what kind of player you are, but you can bypass it, you know, just by keeping it in position 1, it's not in the circuit. So just depends if you're going to use that. I will say the Alnico Classic pickups are not my favorite. They get muddy very, very quickly. So they're an extremely warm, kind of muddy-ish pickup. So not my favorite, but otherwise a fantastic guitar. Now, as for the D'Angelico, it offers a very similar playing experience. That is to say, excellent. It's an awesome guitar, just has that vintage vibe with the tailpiece, the F-holes, and the headstock. I do think the Duncan design pickups, well, you know, not high-end, they are better than the Alnico Classics, in my opinion. They just have a better clarity and less mud. And you can always roll your tone off, so overall, I think the pickups are better in this guitar, but both are amazing instruments that are just a blast to play. So I really wouldn't hesitate to take either of those guitars out to a gig. They really turn heads more than your basic Strat, Tele, Les Paul kind of guitar. Fantastic instruments, sound great, and really I can recommend both. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can check out the t-shirt store, the tab store, all that stuff in the video description below. Have a fantastic week. Take care.